Oh, here we go. All right. So after much delay, we finally made it. It is Dishin Up Clicks. This is the YouTube page. We are live. If you have questions or any of that stuff, please feel free to go ahead and fire them off. I do have someone, my lovely fiance, manning the laptop. I have nothing in front of me besides what I wrote up and some notes that I just quickly scribbled down because I forgot some stuff. I almost swore there for a second. Forgot some stuff there, and I wanted to make sure that it got added in. So again, I will say there is some stuff inside of a full decade that I did not put in, because if not, we would be here for like a 4-hour video. So we're not doing that. So we're going to jump right into it. First things first, it's been a hell of a decade. And you guys are going to find out firsthand. You know why? Because after I went through this and I did all the research, along with a lot of help from people like Tim Traster from Team Pushin, Jason Collins from Married with Clix helped me out as well. Also, Kenji Kenishiro, Kenny Pena helped is there as well. A lot of people, when I had questions, were able to piece in things here and there. So thank you so much for your help. I wouldn't have been able to have gotten this done without you guys. I've been working on this now for a couple weeks. Again, there is going to be some stuff that I'm going to miss. I apologize. I will try and, as mentioned, is the biggest things possible. And there is some information that also is not kicking around. So, or if it is, I'm lazy and I just didn't feel like digging all the way through it. If it's recent, if it's super recent, you guys already know it. We're not going to beat the hell out of it. All right. So here we go. Okay. So obviously the decade starts off with 2010. We're going to do a shout out though to 2009. Big shout out to Ben Chewin. He was the first person who won a championship and who was able to make a figure. And Homeboy made probably one of the better figures that was created by a world champion. He made the Nightcrawler, also one of the first figures that had a nice little Easter egg in it as well. Some of the figures on the back of it was said, obviously, the Xavier's School for Higher Learning, things like that. But then some of the sculpts on the back of it said World Championship Ben Chewin. So if you have that Nightcrawler from Web of Spider-Man, you should probably check that out and see if you have the alternate sculpt.
That's a pretty one of a kind.
Every single sculpt, though, going forward, somebody is in it, and I will explain what it is as well. So every little person had a little sprinkle of themselves in the flavor of the figure. So 2010, a lot of these years are going to go by fast too, because not a lot of stuff happened. Also, we know 2010 as well. I'm pretty sure this is the decade of all NECA. This is after Topps basically shit-canned Heroclix. We got the Hammer of Thor set in 2009, which is, I'm pretty sure, the first NECA set that was put out. And then after that, it was, okay, we can go forward with this. And they did. 2010, OG George Massow wins the world championships. He used the Shazam and Black Adam from Brave and the Bold at 140 points. I believe he used double Scarlet Witch, the super rare from Avengers, and 2 of the Brave and the Bold Jason Bloods. Also, the figure that he created was the Black Adam figure, the World War III, which is very touchy subjects right around these days that we're not going to talk about, but it's the World War III Black Adam. It debuted in the Superman set, and if you look closely, the person being choked out by Black Adam is none other than George Massow.
Oh,
it is.
That's quick Easter egg.
So George, and that's, like I said, when we see more and more of these figures, people kind of like are just slid right in there.
That's very cool.
We got anything on the YouTube front over there?
Got some congratulations and some what's ups.
How we doing? Who we got? Who's out there?
Omar Camacho, Eric Morgan, and Marcus Zillia.
Oh, my man, Marcus Zilla from Critical Hits Customs.
Saying hello. Oh, Marcus, thank you for all that you do. We appreciate you.
Also, in this video, we are going to be dropping out the first promo code for a nice little freebie with Critical Hits Customs.
Oh, yeah.
So I would hang out until about, I don't know, halfway through the decade, and maybe we'll drop in a little soupçon, a little something in there for you. So also the sets that we had for that year was Brave and the Bold, Blackest Night, Jonah Hex, which is the first movie property that they ever made. And we're so glad that they didn't make any more Jonah Hex after that, because that was a bad little 3-pack.
It's too bad.
If you look
at a good comic, but
it's a great comic. Josh Brolin played Jonah Hex. Josh Brolin,
but I've just heard it.
And then we had Megan Fox playing. I can't even remember her name, but she was a little bit of a hussy. But yeah, Jonah Hex has been kind of all over the universes there. He's been, a little here, a little there. Also, and I wish they would do this again, we got the Watchmen's Collector set that came out that year. It came out in a sweet little case. I'm not going to go into too much of that. Web of Spider-Man came out. Brightest Day. So technically the Brightest Day and the Blackest Night weren't Fast Forces yet. I think they were kind of like starter sets still. So, and then we had DC 75, which was the 75th anniversary of DC, obviously. And we had, 10 chases. They were all White Lanterns. I believe we also had Buy It by the Brick still going on then as well. I think the Buy It by the Brick figure was the White Lantern Sinestro with the huge sword. I still have it because it was awesome. And some notes that I have here, it was the decade under to NECA. And as I already pointed out, they purchased that IP in 2009 and released Hammer of Thor. 2011, we have Daniel Jones. I hope I'm pronouncing that right because there's a Y in there.
Danielle?
No, it's Daniel. It's Joynes, Jones. I'm hoping that's how it. He created Mr. Sinister, which debuted in the Chaos Wars. This is the Mr. Sinister that has the big creation tank, and the person that's actually inside the creation tank when he's sitting there making his Marauders is Daniel Jones. So he is the person inside of the creation tank.
Daniel Jones.
That's weird. So I'm thinking Jones.
We're
going with Jones. He played Metron from the Arkham Asylum set. He played Ben's Nightcrawler, also known as the Ben Crawler. He played the nurse from Web of Spider-Man. He played the Crimson Gem of Sidorak. If you guys are pissing and moaning about how objects work now, you should go back and look at some of how these relics worked. He could only pick up that gems in the Crimson Gem of Sidorak. I think it's a power action. You had to roll 5 or 6 to be able to pick it up. It wasn't just power. Oh, it's mine now. So it was a pain in the ass back in the day to get relics on. So the King of the Hill 2011 champion was Nick Stanton. He created the Rogues ATA. I'm not 100% sure on what King of the Hill was, but I think it was like a tournament where you had to play multiple disciplines, and it was like a single elimination. So you would play like a sealed, you play this, you play that, and there was, one, the last man or person standing. Nick Stanton happened to win that year. The sets that came out in this year was the GSX set, which is the giant size X-Men. The first Fast Forces ever, which was the Green Lantern movie. Don't inbox me. I still like the movie.
I do as well.
And it was also the first movie gravity feed that we got, which was from Green Lantern. And it was also the first movie gravity feed that we had in Target, because I remember buying it from Target. So that was the start of the Target era of gravity feeds. We'll touch on that a little later. I think a lot of you guys know where that's going. We had the Captain America set. We had the Fast Forces Watchmen and the Fast Forces Hammer of Thor. They went back and they redid some of those sculpts and some of those figures. Why, you may ask? It's because the Superman set came out with the Fast Forces, and that was the introduction of Oreo bases. So we started this decade off with the old crappy figure in a cup, and then you got to hold it, and then you got to try and turn it without snapping the son of a right off of the mother, and you got to glue this. Oh, you son of. So yeah, we got Oreo bases. Thank you for that.
In a cup, like a Dixie cup.
It was. It was a cup, and then the thing just plopped into that son of a, and then you had to try, and if you had the notch inside of it, that mother didn't want to, and you had to, and then you pop it off, and you have to file that son of a, and you file. Oh man. Don't get me started. And then they had the older. Not gonna do
No,
it.
we're
Nope.
not going
We're
that
sticking
far
to this decade. But there's a motherfucker. So it was the introduction of Oreo bases. Long story short. Also, to end out that year, we had the Incredible Hulk set and a Fast Forces, and this was also the year that we stopped seeing Buy It by the Brick, and they did something different with the Incredible Hulk set. The Buy It by the Brick figures were inside the boosters. So some of those boosters that you would pop open from a brick would have a sixth figure inside of that booster. And then after that, we just stopped seeing Buy It by the Brick completely. I wish they would kind of bring something like that back because it's going to incentivize people to actually buy stuff from their local gaming store and get that figure. I mean, yes, it's going to cause some issues on WizKid's side. They got to juggle all these box tops like we're collecting old crappy freaking toys from like cereal boxes again. You get 150 box tops. You get a Sweet Dakota ring. Buy more Ovaltine. So again, 2011, that was the introduction of Oreo bases. Again, not a lot of stuff going on yet. They really haven't tried to rock the boat too much. A lot of improvements to our stuff. Anything popping over there on the YouTube?
We do. I don't know if this is a question or looks like a comment from Aaron Morgan. Superman had the Superman robot.
Yes, that was also a Buy It by the Brick. That was after. That was before the Incredible Hulk. Then the Incredible Hulk came after that, and then after that it was the red like AI Marine. It was like a hulked out AI Marine. It came in the boosters, and then after the Incredible Hulk set, they just kind of kiboshed the Buy It by the Brick. I still have, I think, 3 Superman robots from the Superman set. Why? Because I collect DC. So 2012, our world champion is Alex Avila. He made the Stargirl figure that came out in Slosh, Superman and the Legion of Superheroes.
Slosh?
Slosh is what people.
No,
yeah. And you can't really miss Alex because he's standing on the thing with Stargirl. It's literally him with his beanie hat on. It's not really an Easter egg. It's like, yeah, I'm here with her, hanging out. So, yep, he played, and this is a really cool team. Morgan Le Fay from the Chaos Wars set, plus the Infinity Gauntlet at full. He played the rare Wasp from Chaos Wars. He played that awesome Scarlet Witch from the Chaos Wars Fast Forces at 50 points, and he played the Secret Avengers ATA. The 2012 fellowship went to Patricia Lamb, and she made Department HATA. The sets that we had, I'm going to run down the sets, and then I'm going to run over my notes because there's a lot of stuff that happened in this year. So in 2012, we had the Infinity Gauntlet set. We had Galactic Guardians and their Fast Forces, probably one of the last sets that we saw Fantastic Four figures in. The last time we saw a Silver Surfer, Doom, Doombots, things like that for quite some time. I may be wrong. I know we had the Future Foundation, like there was the LE set in Chaos Wars as well, which was a couple of the Fantastic Four, but really the first like main set that had some elements. Well, I mean, anyways, we had the 10th anniversary sets. We'll get to those, and there was a couple of little in there as well. Captain America had some of the Fantastic Four as well. But anyways, we had the Avengers movie starter. We had the Avengers movie set. We had the GSX and DC-75 Fast Forces. They went back again to 2 sets previously that had the old crappy buckets. The old bucket, you plop it in there, and they made Fast Forces for those sets with the Oreo bases. So there was some sculpt reuse with new dials and everything like that, and they had the Oreo style bases. We also got the Dark Knight Rises movie set, which I think almost own all of it because it had Heath Ledger as the Joker. You had Heath Ledger undercover as the cop in that set as well. We didn't have a sculpt of that. We also had Heath Ledger undercover as one of the robbers at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So you get a multitude of different Jokers in the movie, in the set. I loved it. It's one of my favorites. We got the Chaos War set and their Fast Forces. Also, we had something else that was pretty cool. We had the Justice League 52 little mini set and Fast Forces. When they made the new 52, they put out like a little tiny micro set for it. Awesome sculpts. Hey, WizKids. Hey, DC. Take note. What do we have in these older years that we don't have now? DC multiple times in a year. Doesn't have to be a full set. Let's put some mini sets in there, please. The Justice League, it's true. Because coming up in the other years, at the end of this year, we also had the 10th anniversary sets. Again, another DC, another Marvel set, which was 2 DC 10th. This is the 10th anniversary of Heroclix. Yes, we have something from the YouTube.
From Aaron, it says the bank heist figures are still great to play.
Absolutely, and they still pair because they're Joker thugs and things like that. They're still great. I will post some pictures maybe tomorrow of a lot of like the old school goons and stuff like that. I have Arkham Asylum inmates and mercenaries and stuff from all of the older sets. It's awesome. So the DC 10th anniversary sets. It's the 10th anniversary of Heroclix. The chases for them was Black Lanterns and was Skrulls. And they were awesome, and I own all of them. And I'll probably never get rid of them because I love me some lanterns and I love me some Skrulls. We also then got our first introduction to the Tab app sets. If you don't know what those are, don't worry, you're not missing much. We'll touch on that in a second, though. We do have the No Man's Land as well. We had the Batman and its Fast Forces. And then, hey, guess what? Another DC set, the micro set, the Streets of Gotham mini set, and a Fast Forces for that as well. So let's drop out some notes here for the year of 2012. It's the first ever summer event released, which is the Infinity Gauntlet. So 2012, we got the first slop. We got the first summer, the summer basically. We have a shit ton of great acronyms. So it was our first slop, our storyline, op kit stuff. It was the introduction of resources, basically. We got our Infinity Gauntlet, and it was the first time that people actually were showing up like, oh, cool, we have this organized play. Let's play in the summertime. We got LEs, we got gems, we got this cool resource. Also, 10th anniversary of Heroclix. We got some micro sets of those. The Tab app is created. Now, for those that don't really know what the Tab app is, it was these goofy Heroclix. And if you have an FYE in your neighborhood, if you go there, you can probably still find these on shelves there. So like there are these huge cartoon looking superheroes. And if you had an iPad, you were able to sync up this Tab app type thing and put your little Heroclix on there, and you could play over the iPad. Do I know more about it than that? Absolutely not, because the dials weren't that good. And not a lot of people played them. We also, and this one was cool, and I'm kind of sad that we don't have it. We also got the introduction of flip maps with the No Man Land's winter event. So we basically got 2 different resources this year. We got the utility belt from the No Man's Land, and I think we also got the Batcave as well. But we got flip mats. Now, what people who didn't play back then don't know is that in No Man's Land, the storyline was Gotham is rocked with an earthquake. The government basically says, nope, you're just kind of a waste zone. You guys are on your own. Martial law takes over. Different sections of Gotham are ruled by different people. Kind of like the Old Man Logan story where like different bad guys had different parts of the United States except for Gotham. So like the GCPD owned this and that and this and that. So you had this map and you played on it. And you rolled at the end of your turn, you rolled 2 dice. And if you rolled a certain roll, the map would flip. So it would be like the Wayne Manor pre-earthquake, and then you'd roll, and if you roll and you trigger, you'd flip the map, put your figures on the spots where they were, and it'd be like the Wayne Manor after the earthquake. If your figure happened to be in like a fire or a rubble, you'd take a penetrating or an unavoidable, I'm not sure, and you'd bounce them out of that area. So we had flip maps. It was kind of cool. It was basically kind of like a battlefield condition built into the map. I still play them.
It's pretty cool. I like
yeah. Anything from the YouTube?
Yes. has said that the Tab app Wolverine was actually good.
Yeah, he's like the only one.
And that No Man's Land is where he started judging.
No Man's Land, I fell in. We're not going to go into my history, but yes, No Man's Land was awesome. I have, fun fact, I just found the No Man's Land map at my parents' house.
Like,
so
what, yesterday?
The other day. It shows you the different sections of it. And so what happens is they gave you like these little wooden tokens. And you pick the faction. And if you won that month, you put your little token in the faction. You could be GCPD, Killer Croc, Joker, all those different things. So I have that map still.
Very cool.
It's the only thing that made it out of my.
Like one of those choose your destiny kind of.
I had all of so every set, old school sets, had checklists. It came like you would open up your case and there'd be a poster in there, and it would show you all the figures. And I had all those posters. I had them, and then the great fire hit, and yeah, those are gone. So again, also we got the resource that was the penguin. Many of you don't maybe not realize that, but we had in the No Man's Land, you had one of the LEs was Penguin, and he was kind of like a little mini resource that it was like almost a precursor to what we had kind of with entities, but we'll jump onto that later. The first improved abilities are introduced in the 10th anniversary set. So those improved movement and like improved targeting abilities that we see now were first introduced in the DC 10th anniversary set here. And also we got the first set of primes in the Batman set, which was like, good God, Cape Crusader was the super rare prime. Bruce Wayne was the rare, but it was actually Hush as Bruce Wayne. I believe a Catwoman was one, and there was like Question or Renee Montoya, I believe, was the other one. I have them. It's been so long.
Inigo Montoya.
It's not Inigo Montoya. No. If you kill my father, prepare to die. We have our second, again, this is of the decade. We have a repeat champion. Yeah, what do you got?
Just said that he pulled a God Pack.
Oh, the God Packs were a thing of myth until we actually started to see them. So what a God Pack was, and I think we had them before, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but the God Packs in the Batman sets, you would open up, and I think which other set? We saw them in Kingdom Come. We saw them in World's Finest. God Pack, you'd open it up. Every chase from the set was in that.
Oh my gosh.
So you would get the Green Lantern Batman, the Speeding Bullets Batman. You would get all of those Batmans.
Omar said Hammer of Thor, I believe.
Yes, potentially. So yes, God Packs are things, and they sprinkle them around. They just sprinkle them around. The cream, right? They are. People would, back then too, you didn't really have a big social media thing. You would have like HC Realms and stuff like that, and people would be like, "Oh yeah, I pulled this God Pack," and people would be like, "Yeah, you're full of shit."
Yeah, right.
And then you'd pull one and be like, "Oh, these things are real." Same thing that happened with World's Finest. People were like, "Oh, there's God Packs in World's Finest," and everyone was like, "No, there's not." And then someone would pull them and be like, "Oh God, it's real." But it was just so it was. We'll get to World's Finest, but World's Finest was weird because some of the chases were in there. The Superman chase was not in the God Pack because it could only hold 5. So they omitted the Superman. So Superman was harder to get regardless. So we have our first 2-time world champion in the decade. Daniel Jones wins again. And 2013, from everything that I collected and feedback that I got from people, is known as kind of like the dark year of Heroclix. It is known as having the stalest, one of the stalest competitive plays known to date. So Daniel Jones, he creates Shriek, which comes out in the Deadpool set. Shriek is like mind controlling a person and has him by the head, and that person happens to be Daniel Jones.
And it's just a cool name for a figure.
Shriek. He played, and when I say this, people are going to be like, "Oh, here it is." Ghost Rider, the Amazing Spider-Man Ghost Rider with the utility belt. Scarlet Witch again from the Chaos Force Fast Forces at 75. This is her second time being on a championship team. We saw them Prime Brother Voodoo, which was a Prime from the Amazing Spider-Man, that friendly mind control. And then the ATA Heroes for Hire. Also this year, we had the Golden World Championships, which was won by Jason Williams, which is incorrect because that's absolutely Jake Williams. So the information that I got from that is wrong. It was Jake Williams, and he created the Harley Quinn from the Flash set. And in that figure, he's the dead person tied to the chair. He played the GCPD cruiser from Batman ×3. He played the GCPD officer from Batman ×3. He played Talia. He played paramedic, Ellie, Little Sure Shot, ATA, GCPD. It was Shredders before Shredders. You choose Ram, you deal penetrating damage, rinse and repeat, and this is why we didn't see another Golden Age World Championship after this.
What was the figure that he created that he was in the chair?
Harley Quinn.
Why? See, this is the opportunity, people. Put yourself in that skirt. Make yourself Harley Quinn. Don't be the dead guy in the chair.
Well, it's out of a comic book. It's literally almost a thing right out of the comic book.
You have such a good opportunity. I'm sure you look great in a skirt.
No.
Maybe not you, babe.
No.
You do have great legs.
Thank you. And the U.S. Nationals champion was Ross Udis, and he created the X-Men Utopia ATA. So sets that came out. Again, we're going to run through the sets, and then I'm going to run through my notes. This is how we're going to do this. So we had the Amazing Spider-Man set. We had the Gotham City strategy game set, precursor to what things to come. We had the Iron Man 3 movie set, which sucked, in my opinion. It was just literally a bunch of Iron Mans. That's it. And then the Extremis Brutes were cool in it, though. You get them to a certain part, they explode. It was one of the lamest MCU movies. A lot of lame MCU movies are getting these gravity feeds. I mean, Green Lantern got one, too. Hi, Ryan Reynolds. We had the Tab App Elite come out. Elite come out. We had Teen Titans and a Fast Forces come out. Yay. We had Fear Itself and the Book of the Skullhammers come out that year. We had the Man of Steel movie set. Wolverine and the X-Men set came out. The Superman Quick Start set came out. The classic Batman TV came out. Thor Dark World. We're just hammering those MCU great movie sets this year. Year of the movie set. We had the Batman Arkham Origins video game set come out. And we also had the Avengers versus the X-Men starter and the winter/fall storyline event come out as well. And then we also had Incredible Iron Man to end the year. So some notes for the year 2013. It was the intro of Super Booster sets and team bases with Teen Titans. So we had the old 8 booster brick set, and then you would have the giant booster at the end, and you just prayed that you didn't pull Trigon. I pulled 2 Trigons. Not very happy about that.
Oh, we have a comment from Tiago. He said AVX was really fun.
Yes, that's the Avengers versus the X-Men.
Oh.
We're getting to that. AVX was fun, and I'll get to it. We had the first video game set with the Arkham Origins. And me personally, hey, guess what? Look at that. We got multiple DC sets in a year. A lot of those figures are overcosted, but it was cool to see those video game adaptations of Bane, of Deathstroke, of Copperhead, Shiva, Deadshot. They were amazing sculpts. So I liked it. Fear Itself was the first ever booster set storyline to drop. And we also got the Horde stacks, and we had those expansion packs. So Fear Itself, it was the first time they put out the old storyline op kit. But to play in the storyline op kit, you had to buy boosters. You had to play as either the worthy or the unworthy, I think. It was 2 of those. I I don't know. I don't remember all the details. It was a long ass time ago. But we got boosters in those sets. And everyone lost their minds because they were like, we're never going to be able to collect the entire set. People went crazy. People went to different stores, different states to play it. And by the second week, it was like, damn it, I have the entire set now. So, Fear itself paved the way for things to come. They also had the expansion pack where you got the Iron Man, the split lip, which was totally worth it. I think you got some extra maps. You got Scotty's hammer, I believe, in there, and you had the Forge. So that was cool. That also got us the Book of the Skulls. We had the first quick start sets released. The Heroes for Hire ATA introduced and crushing alongside with team bases, one of the stalest metas, and introduces the watch list to balance game elements.
Tiago said, first of all, I think he's referring to the AVX, but the Deathstroke was the best in there.
He's referring to the Arkham Origins.
Yeah, and then he said bystanders. I'm sorry, Scotty Warbot.
Scotty's Warbot.
Okay, hammers +2 is the best, and split lip was ridiculous.
Split lip. So, all right. So when you drop the hammer, you got to Quake for free. And then to equip the hammer, it was usually a power action. When you had split lip on the map, you can drop the hammer for free. And then you could attach the hammer to that character for free. He turned that power action into a free action. So you would have someone take a free action, drop a hammer, you Quake for free. You then attach the hammer for free. You then attack with that person. And each hammer gave you just ridiculous stuff. It's why it's banned in a lot of formats now when people try to play it.
And I'm sorry, that comment about the hammers was from Omar, not Tiago.
Yeah, hammers on hammers on hammers. That's why out in Majestics they're playing Bronze Age, and Book of Skulls is just with other things to come in this decade of Heroclix. We'll talk about some of the other things. What do we got?
Tiago said that also it was the beginning of rules on that time. Did you guys have new rule changes?
Yeah, why don't you let me get to it, Tiago, and shut up?
And that Astral Strange moves for free.
Great. Thank you. That's why we have the watch list. Why don't you, if you want to come here from Brazil and host,
please do.
By all means.
Gladly switch places with you.
So we got the watch list because the team bases were unbalanced. You had the Justice League team base, which was absolutely ape shit, and everyone played it. And then you had the ATA, the Heroes for Hire ATA. So basically you had one of two things. You played a team base, or you played the Ghost Rider with the Heroes for Hire ATA and the Brother Voodoo. So 2013 is the introduction of the watch list. A lot of people hate the watch list. A lot of people say, well, if you play tested and you took your time, we wouldn't need a watch list. The way I've always looked at the watch list was the watch list should make us as players think, hey, we're awesome. We think about other dynamic builds. We think outside the box. We are the ones that are pushing the tempo on what's being played. And yes, we do know WizKids playtests their stuff, but they're not going to sit. They're normal. They're not here to playtest. What did you do today? I went to work and I played 10 hours of Heroclix. That's not how this works. They're a business. They're going to playtest, and when they think, okay, the team or the figures, they all work the way we wanted them to, they're not going to think of every competitive game has a ban list or a watch list. Magic the Gathering, you can put out a card in that same day. They're like, oh yeah, it's banned in these formats. So it should be rewarding. It should make players feel good. Yes, we are smarter than the people who are kind of putting this together because we're the ones that are playing this. So we should look at it that way, is that we created the watch list because we are able to manipulate things and think of things that they don't, which is also why we also have that in the best interest of the game rule that we have now, or whatever it's called. The Switch Clix technology is introduced because we had those Wolverine figures that would pop off their base. You can put them on the team bases. I happen to really like that technology because it's easy to tote around a bunch of figures if you're able to pop them off the base, and they're designed to pop off the base, not like what we see in other cases. So I like Switch Clix technology. Also, as alluded to by Tiago, thanks, bud. Appreciate it. You're great. There was an update to the pack which is the powers and ability card. And those showed up in the Wolverine set. And we got our pink powers. We got sidestep. We got precision strike. We got invincible, and we got empower, which was huge. We hadn't seen new powers in the game for a while. Same old boring ass leap climb, but we got new pink abilities. And in the Iron Man set, the old Incredible Iron Man set, it was the introduction of them putting special objects in boosters. We got our Mandarin rings in those boosters for the power plant. So a lot of big things happening in 2013. We had a watch list. We had some new powers and abilities. We had all kinds of stuff. We had super boosters. We had team bases, video game sets, all kinds of stuff. 2014, and I had to then do a whole nother section over here. 2014 world champion Pat Yapoko. He creates the chameleon figure, which is in the Superior Foes of Spider-Man set. He played Prime Lyra from War of Light with a sniper rifle, and the Parallax, which is obviously our entity. And he played Iron Pharaoh. Let's just send out your bird. And he played the Ophidian entity.
I'll get you like 10 birds.
I can get you. I want my bird. I can get you like 10 birds. Also, in World Championship for the teams, this is the first year for teams, was the Majestics Apex Predators, which was Pat Yapoko, Kevin Alfruz, sorry if I butcher your name, and Justin Jimenez. They created the Sebastian Faust from Superman and Wonder Woman. Also in that year, Pat Yapoko won the 2014 Rock Cup. He got to create himself and put himself on a Pog. The Pog that he was put on was the Klingon engineer from Star Trek. The map that he got to make through the rock was the World War II Philippines jungle map. It was a cool map. Also, in 2014, our United States Nationals champion was Adam Friedman. He played Lydia Maller from Slosh with Parallax. He played the White Witch from Slosh with Ophidian. He played that split we just talked about. He played Batgirl from the Batman set at 25 points. He played the bystanders of the lawyer, the protester, and the civilian, all from Fear Itself. He played a full book of the skulls, and his sideline, he had the Black Witch from Slosh because the white and the Black Witches can flip-flop in and out. Also, this started the downfall of Canada because our Canadian national champion of 2014 was Nick Peterson. He played the Wizard from Deadpool with Parallax on him. He played Despotellis from War of Light with Adara. He played Bizarro from Slosh at number 25 points. He was obnoxious. He played the Loki from Fear Itself at 30 points. That was Loki riding his like little beast. And he also played the Scotty's Warbot bystander, and he played a full utility belt. Our sets, obviously, was Slosh. The Fast Forces for that was the Legion of Doom, which is still an amazing Fast Forces set. We got the Captain America Winter Soldier set, movie set. We got the Batman Quick Starter set. We got the first Deadpool in the Fast Forces set. We got the Days of Future Past mini set and scenario pack. The scenario pack was basically you bought a Sentinel and it came with some cool stuff in it. The big one was War of Light. There was a Wave 1 and a Wave 2. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. We had the Guardians of the Galaxy movie set, and then we also had the Guardians of the Galaxy set itself with the Fast Forces. We had the Justice League strategy game, which was also switch-click technologied. And with this strategy game, you could flip-flop them and play them on the Justice League team base that you got from the Teen Titans set. So that was cool. There's also a pretty badass Darkseid in there. Darkseid, however you want to say him. Also, we got the Flash set and a Fast Forces there. Again, this is also the same time that we saw the introduction of resource packs. War of Light changed a lot of things. We got the Green Lantern battery. Again, War of Light is probably, and to this day, is touted as the best storyline op that we've ever had. It was so big, we had 2 different waves. You had wave 1 of boosters, and you had wave 2 of boosters. We had chases in this set. The set is humongous. We had primes that came with their own special constructs. So to play, when you played in the set, you got the Green Lantern battery and some constructs. Every time you showed up and you played that week in your War of Light week, or month this, month that, you got green constructs. If you pulled the primes, you got those constructs, and those primes could also start with constructs started on top of it. And then the LEs, it was just Construct City. It was nuts. What do we got?
A couple comments over here. Omar said that the Justice League team base was broken. Too many moves.
Mm-hmm. Hitting the wall. What was it called? The Watchtower? Something like that. Oh, the Justice League. It was a disgusting team base. They had to change it. We had to adapt and fix some things. Watch list.
Omar, I'm sorry, Tiago said the Shi'ar Empire Guard followed the same problem.
Yep. Every team base had an issue. There was the X-Men Blue, I think it was, which had Gambit on it and things like that. What sucked was you had a 300-point team base, and then you could pop off figures. So you're playing a 300-point team base, and then also like 150 points worth of like figures in the met. It was just great mechanic in theory. I'd love to see it come back. We need to fix it though.
I don't know what this means, but Omar said that the orange battery was broken.
I'm getting to that. Okay. Orange battery is still banned in a lot of formats as well.
All right. Tiago, like he said, that's why Majestic banned some stuff. I guess some figures were just too much for everybody. It's
auto win. And with the way that they change rules and things like that, Black Swan, you create these infinite loops that you can kill somebody on turn 1 or turn 2. That's why there's a rotation, because if we just kept it open like this, we would see these issues where Black Swan wasn't that good years and years and years and years and years and years and years ago. And then all of a sudden we changed some things, and now it's like, boom, I can kill you on turn 2. Did you have fun with your 4 minutes in this round? Go read some comic books, nerd. Go get a Subway sandwich. So we have to keep adapting. So this was also the introduction to resource packs. So as Omar pointed out, okay, you get the green battery for showing up. How do I get the other batteries? WizKids put out packs where you would buy a pack and it was open, and you would be able to have your 2 batteries. You would get the indigo battery and the blue battery, or you get the red battery and the orange battery. I'm not sure how they were, but you would have these 2 packs of batteries. And then on top of that, the con exclusives for that year was the black and the white batteries. And then on top of that, it was the introduction of special object gravity feeds. So now we had a gravity feed that came out that year, and it wasn't even figures. It was just more constructs that you could pull for your batteries, which is awesome. I just hated the batteries. I really didn't like batteries. Again, someone noted that this was probably another time that we were trending towards a very stale meta where people were turned off by, I have to have $200 to $300 worth of entities on top of batteries. I mean, hell, no fault of his own. Look at Pat's team from that year. Pat literally played 2 figures. He played Lyra, and he played Iron Pharaoh, and then he played some entities, and that was it. He played a 2-person figure or 2-figure team. It's nuts.
Omar said it was almost perfect. Super fun to play. I would be down for a wall 2, WOL 2.
War of Light.
Maybe I'm alone, but it was great. Aaron said that War of Light now would be amazing. And Tiago said the construct gravity feed was terrible to get it on Basil, but I'm thinking he means
Brazil.
Get it in Brazil.
Yes. It was a real bitch to get that basil filled. Yes.
Well, I mean, it was basil with a Z, so we kind of
basil.
figured it out. But
I got the oregano one, son of a... I was hoping to get the basil one. I got the oregano filled one. But yeah, if we had something like a War of Light come out now, well, one, we are very deprived of anything Green Lantern, any sort of... We get like one dropped in here or there. It's like, hey, John Stewart, you're cute. I wish I had 70 more of your kind. Just a bunch of lanterns. War of Light would be great if they redid it. I would love to see another whole cosmic War of Light. You can take your entities and stuff them somewhere. I don't want to see entities come back in the game again. A lot of people don't want to. 2015, this is another big year. WizKids kind of loses their minds, and I'll explain about that in a second. So, your world champion for 2015, Paris Gordon. He makes Mephisto, which comes out also in the Superior Foes of Spider-Man. He creates this Mephisto. It's Mephisto looking into this little crystal, and Paris's ugly face is in the crystal. So that's where his little Easter egg is dropped in. It's not even an Easter egg. It's just his big goofy ass head.
Just looking up at you.
Just staring at you. Hey! No, hey, there's Paris in the crystal. He plays Spiral with Parallax. He plays our funnest, our favorite. Our funnest. Literally, if you can go on YouTube and watch this championship match, it was 7 minutes long, I think. Oh, my goodness. He plays Felix Faust, the con-exclusive Felix Faust with the Entity. He plays the Loki from Fear itself, and he plays a full Phoenix Force. Again, no fault of his. Again, another reason why the watch list is created. Faust hits the watch list, and guess what? Faust then hits it again, and then guess what? Faust is just early retired because he's such a pain. What do we got? You're laughing, and so obviously it's a good one.
I have a couple comments before this one, but this one is very fitting. Tiago said, Mephisto, quote, Mephisto looking to Paris' face. Why am I watching this virgin?
Why is this virgin in my crystal? That's a good one, man. I like that. Savage, Tiago.
A couple comments previously that Omar said that entities were so much fun.
You're wrong.
So much fun. I don't know if
I think he's being sarcastic. Yeah. It's like there's no one said that ever. No one has looked at their team and been like, you know what I need? I need some entities on this shit. Yeah, nobody has said that.
Tiago also said that he really hated them. They were expensive. A fun mechanic, but really bad on chases. Fun mechanics.
They were chase figures. So how an entity worked was you were taking a figure and you were pairing that figure with this entity. So it was like 20. It was kind of like how our special objects are now, except the entity, it's kind of like a parasite. It latched onto that person. Every single turn for a free action, you got to choose one combat value, I believe, that was lower on your actual figure than the combat value on the entity, and you could bump up that combat value on your figure on the board. You then, for free, got to choose a power off of your entity on the sideline. Whenever you clicked your figure, you would click the entity, you would then pick another power. It was good in theory. They've kind of then they've kind of made up for that with special objects now. We'll get into that. I promise we're only halfway through the decade. Also, going to drop it in here now. If you're still watching, hey, go hit up Critical Hits Customs. Go message Marcusilla. When you use promo code ARES5, ARES, and the number 5, ARES5 is the promo code. Whenever you buy any 5 bystanders, they will throw in 2 bystanders free for you. So, use my promo code, ARES5. Hit up Marcusilla and the boys over at Critical Hits Customs. ARES5 is the promo code. Buy 5 bystanders that you need. You get 2 free. Hit them up. They're awesome. Friends of the show, sponsors of the show. ARES5 is that promo code. Tell them I sent you. They'll love to hear from you. The Team Worlds for that year was Team Failboat. Derek Thompson, Tim Bold, Nick Peterson. They made Devil Dinosaur, which was an awesome Pog generator from Superior Foes of Spider-Man. Again, I don't think they really have, unless I'm missing something, I don't think they have a little like slide in, like, hey, we're going to slide in my little like Easter egg. That's the word I'm looking for. It's going to keep sliding. We're going to slide in it. Hey. I screwed up there. We had back-to-back national champion here. Nope, lied to you. We had a double champion this year. Kenny Pena won the United States Championship and won the Canadian National Championship. Sorry, Canadians. You still haven't won your national championship yet. And he played it with a goofy team. He played 107-point Gluttony with Entity, 95-point Dupe with Proselyte, 20-point Split Lip, 27 points worth of the Book of the Skulls. He used all the hammers except for Nurkod. His point total was 299. The Brazilian national champion this year was Thiago Pinto da Luz. Thank you, Thiago. Again, I mentioned that what's their faces there? Their faces.
The virgin face of
I forgot to mention too, in 2014, the fellowship was Kenji Kenshiro. He made the diplomatic immunity ATA that year. Sorry, bud. He was in there, I promise. 2015. So for winning the Canadian National Championship, Kenny Pena made the By Odin's Beard ATA. For winning the United States National Championship, Kenny made the Uncanny ATA. In 2015, the Australian National Champion, which was Kenny Wynn, he made the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ATA. The 2015 French National Champion, which is Julian, God, I'm going to butcher your name here, Smaghe, Smagghe, Smaggy. Sorry, bro, if you're watching. You made the Civil War ATA. Congratulations. The 2015 Peruvian National Championship, which was Eduardo Heredia Torres. You made the Reprogramming ATA. The 2015 Brazilian National Champion, as I already pointed out, was Thiago Pinto da Luz. He made the All My Teammates Are Useless ATA. The UK National Champion from that year was Dale DeAndrade. He made the Flash Family ATA. The Italian National Champion was Pietro Acquaviva. Acquaviva. You're Italian? What is that? Acquaviva?
Sure, baby.
Aquavelva.
Spell it at me.
The sweet old man cologne. Pietro Aquavelva. He made the Red Sun Suns ATA. The German national champion was Steve Boudart. He made the Task Force X ATA. And they went nuts. And then if you won a national championship in 2015, you were making an ATA just for them to go ahead and say, you know what, we're going to ban ATAs in like a year anyway. So why not? Everybody gets an ATA just so we can go ahead and get rid of them here shortly anyways. What the hell? The 2015 Rock champion was Isaac Arnold Berkowitz. You're going to hear that name a lot. Why? Because this kid wins everything. His pog that he made, the Isaac Arnold Berkowitz, was based off of the Scotty's Warbot, and he also made the zipline map that year.
Ooh, that's cool.
And it was a very cool map. These were all neoprene maps that were all put out by The Rock. So, in 2015, here's the sets. We get another set in here that kind of just ruins stuff for a while. Justice League Trinity War. I loved that set. I thought it was fantastic. They also had a Fast Forces. We get the Avengers Age of Ultron movie set. We get the Avengers Quick Start, Captain America and Iron Man. We get Avengers Assemble. You're seeing a trend. That's why I stopped buying Marvel as well. You just get Avengers Force Fed. Hey, January 22nd, Captain America and the Avengers is coming out for pre-release. February 5th is the main release for that this year as well. Captain America and the Avengers coming to you at a local gaming store. Thank you. We also then get the Age of Ultron slop. You know what that is? It's more Avengers stuff. We then get the Fast Forces for Avengers Assembled was the Fast Forces, the original Avengers, which has the Hank Pym ID card in that. We get Nick Fury and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Fast Forces there. We get the Extreme Clix. I'll talk to you about that in a second. And then we get Superman and Wonder Woman Fast Forces that had the Dr. Fate helmet in there. So you're probably wondering, hey, man, what the hell is an Extreme Clix? Let me tell you. It's a Heroclix that's about this tall. And they sold them at Toys R Us. There was a Batman and a Superman. You can probably still go to Toys R Us right now and find them there. And Toys R Us has been closed for a year. These things were horrible. These things were a monstrosity.
Did you actually, like, they made them to put it on a...
I have no idea because I looked at it, laughed, drop kicked it, left Toys R Us. I was
That's
like,
why Toys R Us is closed.
no, Toys R Us is closed because they have a bad,
Because they sold
He's like, you know what? I think a 6-foot tall Heroclix is just what we need for the toy section.
Okay, but were they actually meant to be played on a map? Is my question. No, they were just a fun.
They had purple rings, which means that they were promo figures, which means they weren't tournament legal and things of that nature, but they were god awful horrible. I'm really hoping that wasn't Kenny Payne's idea. Yeah, let's make some extreme Clix.
Kenny, we love you, Kenny.
I hope that wasn't your idea because that was a horrible one. So some notes from this year. They finally stopped doing gravity feeds with every main set release. So what that means, from this moment in 2015, it was started with the Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I believe. Every single set before that, you would get a main set, and then you would get a gravity feed. And inside the gravity feed, there were like 10 to 12 figures that were the same exact sculpt that you got in the main set, but with a different dial. And some of the times, maybe most of the times, the figures you got in the gravity feed were better than the figures you got in the main set. So they're almost forcing you to be like, hey, you want that really cool Green Arrow figure for your Trinity War? You got to go get the gravity feed to find them. The one that came with all the arrow like mechanics and stuff. So they stopped doing that finally with Nick Fury. You know why? Because they just started jamming some ID cards at us in this year. The introduction of ID cards, which is still prevalent to this day. So 2015, 5 years of ID cards. 4 years. 2020 now, doing the math, mental math. 4 years.
5 years.
No, because we haven't seen a new ID card in the year 2020, and I hope we don't see it. But we'll see. I just said see 3 times in a sentence. So introduction to ID cards happens in 2015. The introduction of Colossal Retaliation happens with Superman and Wonder Woman. Those are in that set, which that set is also a super booster set. And you got stuff like the War Wheel and the Atom and Brimstone and figures like that. So this is the year that we got 2 of the most crippling game mechanics to come out. I don't want to say crippling. 2 of the most game-changing, in my opinion, things to come out in the same exact year that has shaped competitive play for 4 years strong. Colossal Retaliation and ID cards. What do you got?
Just a quick comment from Tiago. He said that Nick Fury, the ultimate generic set.
Yes, we're getting to that. It was actually more the Age of Ultron.
And I believe he also said that, I believe what you were just referring to, 2 of the most, quote unquote, the S word. Shit.
Yeah, you can say shit.
Okay.
We're good. It's the first video. We'll get a little more family friendly going forward. This is also Year of Faust. Nationals was moved from Origins this year to Maryland for only the 1 year. So your Nationals wasn't even played at Origins. It was played in Maryland. And then was moved back, I believe. So that year you had National Championship in Maryland, World Championships in Origins. I think they grouped those together the next year. Also, little fun fact, this is the year that was the introduction of the Ultra Chase. Just when you thought, hey, it's hard to find chases, we're going to get you the Ultra Chase, which was the White Rabbit out of the Trinity War set. So this year, we got a lot of stuff. Also, it was the year that we got Age of Ultron, which was the introduction of Ultron drones and things like that. But we don't see its full introduction until 2016, and we'll get to that. 2016, we have another 2-time champion. Pat Yapoko wins the 2016 World Champion. He wins with the Quinjet. We're going to get to that, which is a resource. He plays at 114. So he plays the Quinjet at 140, and he plays the resource. He plays the Atom, as I just pointed out. He played a Colossal Retaliator, 15 points, Superman and Wonder Woman. He played Atomica, which is from the Fast Forces, little tiny Pog. He played Ultron Drone 6 at 30 points, Ultron Drone 18.2 at 30 points. He plays Henry from the Fast Forces of the Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And we have the ID cards. He plays Red Tornado, Nova, Iron Man, Shield level 7 times 2. Nightwing, the Atom, and Bucky Barnes are the people he has also on the sidelines. So we also, our Team Worlds is Critical Masters, Kyle Robinson, Jordan Bean, and John Knopf. Also in 2016, his figure that he creates ends up becoming Beta Ray Bill from the Mighty Thor. There is no little Easter egg for him. He just makes a badass
Straight
Chase
up
figure.
awesome.
Yes.
Omar commented that Pat Y can squeeze so much into a 300-point team. Amazing.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff.
Okay.
But it's also because of the fact of the Ultron drones. So these Ultron drones, you could play. They had 2 different dials. Don't tell Thomas Camacho that, because he'll only send you 1 dial because he's a dick. So, not Omar, no relation. This, long story short, guy sold or traded somebody an Ultron drone, only sent him 1 dial, kept the other dial. So all of these Ultron drones, you could play them at an upper point level or a lower point level. And I don't think you actually had to. So these 30-point drones were considered to be like 120 points. So you could call stuff out at 120 points with a 30-point figure. That makes sense. Again, another thing that was in theory really good, but not very good for the game. Your U.S. Nationals champion in 2016 is Scott Crampton. He asked to have the Clock King made, which was made in Batman the Animated Series. Your 2016 Canadian National Champion was a familiar face here, Kenji Kenishiro. He asked to have the Phantasm figure made. It was made in Batman the Animated Series. He played Metallo with Ion Entity. He played Justin Seifert. And he played Atomica, the Fast Forces. He played the Guardians of the Galaxy Fast Force Lockjaw. He played the Green Power Battery with the Green Ring, the Green Wall, Sniper Rifle, Bulldozer. He played ID card, Shield level 7 with the Balls of Fury, Nick Fury. And he played 2 Ultra Heavies and 2 and 1 Light. So we don't see Ultra Heavies anymore, but he played them. Your Chilean national champion was Daniel Leon. He asked for Flex to be made. And the 2016 Mexican national champion was Jose Rodrigo Rosales Guerrero. And he asked for Prez Ricard to be made. And that came out in Rebirth, and so did Flex Mentallo came out in Rebirth.
Tiago said that this was the year of zombies, right? Where every 7 teams you fought 9 with zombies?
Zombie Super Skrull? Potentially, yes.
Oh, yes. And Omar just said, and those each had a Super Skrull zombie.
Yep. Most likely. What year am I in? 2016. We will go father-son back-to-back for Rock Cup champions. Isaac won it in 2015. Ed Arnold Berkovitz, he wins it in 2016. His Pog that he makes is the Parademon from the Justice League board game. So when you get an Ed Arnold Berkovitz Pog from The Rock, it was the Parademon Justice League board game. His map that he makes is the amusement park map. So we go back to back. We go for a zipline park and an amusement park. 2 cool maps that are made. The sets that we get, probably one of the best sets, in my opinion, to ever be made, World's Finest. And the Fast Forces. We get the Batman versus Superman movie set. We get the Captain America Civil War movie set. We get our first indie set that is put into modern play. I'll explain that. So we get our first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set. And some of you may have been asking, hey, he's not really talking about all of the other indie sets that were made. And a big reason of that is because we didn't care about them as players. They were novelty sets. We got an Iron Maiden set. We got Yu-Gi-Oh! We got 3 or 4 different Lord of the Rings sets. We got Street Fighter. We got Gears of War. We got Assassin's Creed. We got Halo. We had 2 different Kick-Ass sets. We had Pacific Rim. We had a humongous amount of indie, quote unquote, indie sets, but they never gelled or vibed with modern play. So a lot of people didn't buy into them. This was the first time they took a set and they were like, you know what? We're making Ninja Turtles. Let's make it so we can play them in modern. And it was fantastic. And it hopefully can pave the way for more indie sets to be made and gelled in. We see that. We see that with coming up with the horror set, with the undead set, with all the Star Trek sets, with more Ninja Turtles throughout the years. I hope these properties that they own, like Gears of War and things like that, they possibly go back and remake and they make them modern legal, because I think it's cool. So, with that being said, our first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set comes in. We get Uncanny X-Men, the Civil War slop set, which is probably, in my opinion, one of the worst slop sets that we saw. We get the Superior Foes of Spider-Man. We get a second Turtle set this year because they're like, you know what? Turtles did good. Let's just keep pumping them out. And then we also get Joker's Wild. So it's our first modern set, like I said, to incorporate indie. It's our first introduction of variant sculpts. What are those? It's those really weird white sculpts that we saw in Superior Foes and Joker's Wild, which I think kind of paved the way to those primed blister packs that we're seeing now.
I like those.
So,
by the way, I happen to think they're very cool.
Some of them looked great.
Yeah,
some of the primed figures, or some of the variant figures, looked better than the other figures.
Yeah,
I really liked. So, Joker's Wild, Man Bat. If you get the variant or the colored one, that is probably hands down the sculpt of the year that year. But either one was good. And then you had some that just looked bad. But it's kind of going off of the variant covers you get for comic books. For every 10 comic books I think a store sells, they get one of those sketch variants. Same kind of concept here. These are all quote unquote sketch variants. The Clix effects are introduced. For those that don't know what that is, we're seeing it now again with the Captain America and the Avengers set. The most notorious and widely used figure that had a Clix effects base was the Green Lantern from Joker's Wild. People would play 2 of him. He was able to free put out his Clix effects as a wall, basically, and whatever side you put the Clix effects on, you have like a barrier there. So we got the introduction of Clix effects this year. On top of that, we got our first introduction to the trifecta. We had ID cards, we had Colossal Retaliation, we get Pick-a-Power here at the Joker's Wild, we get Jakeem Thunder, and he gets railroaded, just railroaded down the road. Was he a little unbalanced to start? Potentially. They fixed that along the line. On top of the next year, they fixed some couple things next year, and then they just continue to pound Jakeem Thunder into dust. So that's neither here nor there. What you got? Anything from over there? I saw you smirking, so someone had something to say.
Thiago, he's got me smiling over here. He said World's Finest was terrible for battle royals. I remember opening a Metallo in a table with 3 HSS SR/Chase Supermans. That's a tough day right there.
Yeah.
I don't know what a Metallo is, but I'm thinking it's probably not a Chase.
No, it's
Superman
a
equivalent.
It's a super rare. It's got like a little pew out of his chest.
What was it?
Pew out of his chest. Yeah, that's a tough day for you, man. Suck it up. You'll be all right. So 2017, we're almost to the end of this decade, and we have seen a boatload of amazing things happen. What we didn't see happen, or we didn't see coming, was in 2017, Howard Brock wins the World Championship. He also creates Shazam, which is then put in Rebirth. The Shazam, his little Easter egg, It's Shazam standing on a rock, kind of floating. There's a paper at his feet, and the headline is Howard Brock wins world championship.
Very
Cool.
Very
nice
cool.
little like bloop right in there. Very nice. You then have he played the Joker from Joker's Wild, the super haha Joker at 30 points. He plays Goblin King at 170 from What If. He plays Ironheart from Avengers Defenders War. He plays Mercury from World's Finest. He plays the Atom, Colossal Retaliation Atom. And he plays the Pym Pocket Tank. He also plays the Special Object Symbiote. He then, for his ID cards, he plays Shield level 7, obviously with Balls of Fury. He plays the Nightwing OpKit LE. And he also then plays Spider-Man with the Cosmic Spider-Man. Now, the Team Worlds is a sweep. We get Lucky Dice Comics, so Howard Brock, Easton Brock. I'm sorry. I forgot who the third person was in the team. I apologize immensely. And now that I'm looking at it, I didn't go back through and figure it out because there's a question mark sitting there. So, Lucky Dice.
So if anybody wants to answer,
so if anyone wants to toss that out there, I'd appreciate that. Shit. So.
Oh, Warren Jin.
Thank you.
Tiago. Thank you, Tiago.
Yes.
Click on the ball.
I knew that. I don't know why. I drew a blank and then didn't put him in. Yeah.
Oh. It says, was Warren Jin the one that is currently in the hospital with a heart attack?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, it's that Warren Jin. So if you haven't seen it on some of the pages, go look it up. He has a GoFundMe out there right now.
Yeah.
Go donate and help this guy out.
Please
Great person, great human being. I think you can go to the HIE page. I think it's on Clix Off. It's on a bunch of Dollar pages. Go check those pages out. The Warren Jin GoFundMe is on there. A lot of people have already chipped in now. Go chip in now. If you leave this and come back and go chip in. But yeah, that's that Warren Jin. Thanks for bringing the mood down, Tiago. Shit.
You asked the question.
Yeah, they made the Billy Batson that was in Rebirth. So the Billy Batson works with the Shazam. So that's pretty cool. Billy Batson has that stop click, and then Billy Batson can then turn into Shazam. So they work off one another. Dustin Cedars was your 2017 U.S. Nationals champion. He played Jakeem Thunder with Supreme Intelligence. He played Felix Faust. This is also another year why Felix Faust goes away. He played Bizarro Green Arrow. God, I missed that figure. He played the Pym Pocket Tank as well. He played the Shield level 7 with Balls of Fury. And he played Spider-Man with, of course, the What If Cosmic Spider-Man. And then we had, sorry, Canadians, Adam Cole, baby. He wins the 2017 Canadian National Championship with Shuma Gorath. And he had a weird, like, Donald Trump toupee on his head when he won with it. So, again, sets. We had our third turtle set. We had Deadpool in the X-Force set. I'm not sure if it was this Deadpool set or the last Deadpool set, but one of the Deadpool sets was also on a train, and the train derailed and like burned up, and we lost like hundreds of cases of this set.
I remember that.
I think this is also the set as well that we had the horrible distribution where certain of the unicorn Deadpool, where like there are stores that are like, yeah, I can get you like 10 unicorn Deadpools. And then there were some that are like, yeah, we opened up 6 cases and we all got the same. So we had some distribution issues with that Deadpool set. We had the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 movie set. We had Avengers Defenders War. We had the Wonder Woman set, which was the downfall of the Target deal, which also then created probably one of the most rare Wonder Woman figures and just rare figures of all time. So as we all know, when these movie sets come out, there is a comic book store, local gaming store gravity feed, and then there was your Target gravity feed. And of course, each one had different chases. So the Target gravity feed, only certain gravity feeds actually made it to the store. The rest of them, I guess, just Target and their distribution center happened to eat them and shit them out into a pond somewhere. So There are very limited amounts of the Wonder Woman chase from the Target gravity feeds kicking around. Some people are even trying to sell it for $300 on the Heroclix pages. I don't see it going for that much, seeing as how it's rotated out of modern play. But yes, it is super, super, super hard to find because of the Target deal falling apart. We also get the What If and the Elseworld set. What are those? They're just exactly what they are. They're little kind of micro sets. And one of them is the What If, based off of the What If comic books from Marvel. And the other one is based off of the Elseworld set from DC. What are those, you may ask? This is the weird thing where you have these comic books of what if. What if the Punisher was actually Doctor Strange? What if the Green Goblin had the Infinity Gauntlet, a la Goblin King? What if Bruce Wayne was the Green Lantern or Elseworlds? What happens if Superman lands and he's raised by the Waynes? So on and so forth. That's what those sets are. We get the Mighty Thor set. We get our next indie set, which is the Undead set. And it actually sold very well here in Connecticut. We went through 2-3 cases of it. A lot of people enjoyed it. The chases were fun. The figures were fun. I hope they make more Undead sets. We also got the Thor Ragnarok movie set. We got the Harley Quinn set, and we get our first Star Trek set that launches into modern play as well. Yeah.
Omar said, what if Goblin King gets nerfed by WizKids? Because WizKids. What if?
He kind of doesn't get, I mean, he needed it. It was horrible. What if we made a bad decision and put this figure out and then we needed to pull him back? And then we did. And that happened this year. Goblin King. As soon as these U.S. National Championship and this Worlds concludes, the watch list goes absolutely nuts because we have a Cosmic Spider-Man who's throwing a mini tank through walls. We have 2 Pick a Power figures going completely just crazy out there. And then we get what is the introduction of special objects with the Mighty Thor. We get the biggest pack and rule overhaul unleashed ever. The Simplify the Rules comes through. We get a new rule book finally. We get a new pack. You know what we don't get with this new pack, though? We do not get a new Leap Climb, which sucks. We do get a sequence card as well. So sequences is added to Heroclix. So at the beginning of turn, I can only do this or that. They have a sequence out there as well. The team abilities are all overhauled as well. We get rid of redundant things like the transporter, the sharpshooter symbol. We get rid of, what else is there? The duo attack symbol. We get rid of all those unnecessary symbols. They just shit can them. See you later. Don't need you anymore. We're not going to use you anymore because we have improved target abilities. So why do we need this stupid sharpshooter ability thing here? What else do we get? The simplification, all that. You've got something because you're giggling.
Oh, no, it was literally my own thought. You said we get sequence, and I thought of glitter.
Like we get to dress as the Rockers from the WWE from way back in the day. We get sequence outfits. No, we get sequences where we get kind of buffs to things, but we also then kind of get crapped on where before we could sidestep, outwit, and then poison. Well, we can't do that now because as soon as you make actions and you move, once you move, you can't use poison. So we get the overhaul that we want, but you lose some stuff to gain some stuff. And that's what happens this year in 2017. Also, I missed, and I apologize. Our 2017 Rock champion was Dan Powell. He picked the Superman movie set Pog Soldier. He made the Powell Farm map. Also, a big one in 2017, Howard announces at the Rock Cup that he is parting ways with HC Realm. So the Rock was always kind of paired with HC Realms. Well, Howard basically buys out The Rock, and The Rock becomes its own entity. So you have HC Realms and you have The Rock. They're no longer together anymore. So Howard announces that at Rocktober, that The Rock is going to be its own thing. They're going to be starting their own formats. They're going to be doing their own thing separate from HC Realms. Also, what we get this year as well is we get the conversation of moving the World Championship from the United States Championship. Because unfortunately for him, and I felt for him, and he made a good point, once the World Championship hit, nobody remembered that Dustin Cedars won the United States National Championship. Not even I, and I'm sorry, Dustin. But it was, okay, what did Howard win with? Oh, okay, they won Team Worlds as well. And then everyone was left to ask themselves, well, who the hell won the United States National Championship? And it was Dustin Cedars. And Dustin Cedars is an awesome player out of Texas. And it also then begged the question, like, are we trying to jam too much Heroclix into one weekend? And how do we make the United States National Championship and the World Championship both special in their own right? And this is when the announcement happens as well that in 2018, the World Championships are going to be held in Philadelphia at PAX Unplugged. So that news is also dropped, I believe, this year as well, or the beginning of 2018. 2018, our world champion is Tyler Spees going against everything with his monster build. If you want to find out the monster build that he builds with, go check out WizKids right now on their website. There is a really great article up called Monster Mash, and it kind of breaks down what he won with in 2018 and how he can supplement some of the losses that he had with attrition and with rotation, and how he can supplement them with some of the sets coming up like our Wendigo, Storm, Mojo, things like that. So if you want his build, go check it out on the WizKids site, Monster Mash. I believe I also posted it up on the Dishin Up Clix Facebook page. Yes.
Tiago said Aries cosplayed as Undertaker. Also making 3 big tournaments in the same weekend was terrible for the schedule. And then Omar came back and said there's a video somewhere of Aries getting a chop across the chest.
Yes, that was 2000. That was this year in 2019. DJ Riggins hits me with a chop. It's a good one. I'll have to post it up on the Dishin Up Clicks. That was the 2019, and we'll get there. We'll get there. You guys, we'll get there. It's a long decade. Not that other decades are short because they're all 10 years. You know what? That we're going to keep going. So Tyler Spees wins the 2018 World Championships. Again, you want his build? Go read the Monster Mash article. World teams was Devin Owens, Joseph Pangrazio, and Richard Leo. Funniest thing about this team, I was there in Philadelphia for this team. It was basically mashed up last minute. All 3 of these guys were looking for a team. They were trying to, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. And they all kind of just paired themselves together, and then they ran the gauntlet and they won. So good for those guys. Devin Owens, Canadian, finally winning something. Good for you, bud. Way to go. Way to go. National champion that year. Hey, surprise. Isaac Arnold Berkovitz is back. He ran like a shredder, a clone shredder hybrid team. The year of the stab. Go watch some videos that are out there. What do? He stab, stab, stab. He stabbed his way to a national champion. Runner-up that year, Team Pusheen member, Abdul Manikram. It was a good matchup. The Canadian champion that year, do we have a Canadian? No, it's PJ Bolin. PJ Bolin keeps up the good old United States tradition of just poo-pooing on the Canadians. You can't win your own title. He plays a Blackbird team. The Brazilian national champion that year is Pedro Roca. He snuck in there with a Starro build. It was kind of one of those flex years where the international players got the world stuff, the Worldcon exclusive stuff before the United States, which I'm okay with. I think that was cool. I'm glad that they got stuff. Tiago's going to cry about how they don't get anything, and Brazil is hated by WizKids. I'm sorry that your government sucks and all of your tax treaties and stuff to get in there is bad. We talk about it. He's on Team Pusheen. He always hates about it. So, yeah, he won with Starro. There you go. Sets for this year. The sets are smaller this year. We get the X-Men Xavier School, which has has more IDs in it. We get Avengers Infinity. We get the fourth installment in the Ninja Turtle set. We get Batman the Animated Series set, and we also get the Secret Wars Battle World set. So, the Rebirth of ID cards hits in Xavier School. We get student IDs, which are 3-point ID cards, and then we also get Headmaster ID cards, which are 5-point ID cards. We also get the Arkham patient folder ID cards as con exclusives, and we never see them again in any set. We also have the introduction of the Colossal Boosters, replacing the Super Boosters. So in Avengers Infinity War, they wanted more Colossals in there. So instead of doing 8 normal-sized boosters and then a Colossal or Super Booster, they did a 10-booster Colossal Booster. So every single booster had a Colossal figure, which is a 2x2, and then also had a 4 other regular-sized figures in that. We also get introduced to the Trouble Alert mechanic from the Batman the Animated Series set. We also Switch Clix come back. Oh, nope, I messed that up. That's next year, which is the Regenesis. So we'll talk about that now. Next year coming up, we're told that we're getting Switch Clix coming back because Regenesis is happening, which is our next slop. Philadelphia holds Worlds and PAX blows it completely. We had a lot of issues. I was at that Worlds. They did 4 rounds of Swiss, and we've talked about it before. I'm not going to beat the hell out of it. 4 rounds of Swiss for the main event, and they cut to a top 16. I was 18th. And that's not on WizKids. Apparently, there are some issues on PAX's side, and basically, PAX just completely shits the bed on this one. And we get the announcement later on down the road that Worlds is going to be held in Memphis in 2019. So we also get another big announcement that The Rock announces that they are now going to be sponsored by WizKids, meaning that WizKids pricing is going to be in some of The Rock's op kits, and that rock maps going forward become legal in WizKids play. So
awesome.
You see these awesome neoprene maps. Usually you can only play them in the Rock. And what happens is that they kind of scrap that, and going forward from that announcement, it has the Rock emblem on it, and it also has the WKO, which is the WizKids logo on it. Also, I screwed up again because that's just what I do. 2018, the Rock champion was Dan Powell. His map choice was the Chomp Swamp that just came out. The team championship for 2018 for The Rock as well was Adam Freeman, Paris Gordon, and Matt Esbrook. And their map, I believe, is called like the Election Rally map. It's like a rally hall map. And on their little Easter egg on the map, it's like this nice rally hall. And on the stage, there are 3 like movie screens, and each one has a picture of the person who won. So one is Adam Friedman, one is Paris Gordon, one is Matt Esbrook, and as Tiago would say, everyone is sitting in the crowd going, "Why am I looking at this virgin on the screen?" So that's what you got there. So 2019, we're here. We're finally at the end of the decade. Our world champion, the Triple Crown of champions for the decade, Isaac Arnold Berkowitz.
We're just going to call him IAB from now.
Usually we do.
Yeah.
Is Isaac AB. He has won a Rock championship. He has won a national championship. He now adds a world championship. He played like a cosmic style team that had Q Prime on it. He had Trader. He had Traylene. He had Gardner. The world teams championship is George Massow. Remember that guy who won a world championship way at the beginning of the decade? He's still winning championships as well. He is part of the world team. Him, Matty G, Adam Friedman, another name that is tossed around with national championships, team championships. Our national champion for the year is Patrick Frazier. He plays a Vulture Hawkeye team build and wins with that. our Canadian champion for 2019. The streak is over. Devin Owens. Finally,
For the Canadian.
a Canadian takes home the Canadian championship. Good for you, Devin. And then we played Tribe. That was bad. It was a bad day for you, bro. It's a game all about hands.
Oh God!
Didn't
we play that?
We did not play that here. I wanted Kenji to play it the last time they showed up to play at the state championship. It's a game all about balancing.
Oh yes, I remember.
And Devin just naturally has a very unsteady hand. And going through funny stories, he told us while doing this, going through customs, he's got this shaky hand, and the guy's like, "You nervous?" And he's like, "No, I just always shake, man." Like,
Devin is not a surgeon.
No, he's Dr. Strange after the car accident.
Oh, crap.
So the sets that came out this year, we had the Earth X set, we had the Captain Marvel movie set, Rebirth, Avengers, Black Panther, and the Illuminati set of the year. We also then have the Wolverine versus Cyclops for Genesis Slop Gravity Feed. We have our second Star Trek set, which was a Gravity Feed set. We get the X-Men animated series Colossal Booster set. We get our third Star Trek set, which is another Gravity Feed. We get WWE Heroclix in non-blind blister packs. More to come on that. We get the Orville starter set. What's an Orville? It's a TV a TV show by Seth Rogen. Seth MacFarlane. Seth Rogen's the Jewish guy in all those bad Judd Apatow movies. He laughs like that and shit. Yes. Yeah. Seth MacFarlane does all the stupid Family Guy. Laugh and cry. He does all those voices and shit. Yeah. Pow. And then we get the deep cuts primed X-Men figures. So again, as I've already mentioned, Memphis hosts Worlds and crushes it. We will see Worlds, in my opinion, at Memphis going forward for a whole nother decade.
At least we hope
I'm hoping.
Because it was really, from what I understand,
amazing. The hotel was fantastic. I wish I got to the hot tub more because the hot tub was fantastic. They had a peanut butter and jelly bar. It was free every night. Kenji and I could live off that every night and play games downstairs. Barbecue delivers to your room. What else do you need? What else do you need? Hot tub and food and peanut butter and jelly, and then it's a quick tram quick tram from the hotel to your room. A quick tram from your room to the.
Wait, you took a tram from the hotel to your room?
Yeah, they drove right up to that bitch, dropped me off at the room. They said, "What card do you need?" They gave me the key card. I buzzed right in, kicked the door open, and was like, "What's up, Jeremy Walters? Oh, and there's a Canadian here."
That's a big hotel.
It was big as shit. So,
trams everywhere.
Trams on trams. Mad trams. Some of the trams. And yes, I caught a chop from DJ Riggin, who had a great Worlds that year. He placed, I think, top 8 in teams. I think he placed also top 16 or top 8 in individuals. He played Shade the Changing. He had a great, good for him. Good for Juggernaut, Team Juggernaut. Also, flip cards was a thing this year in Regenesis. So if you played a certain theme team, you got to use the other side of a card. Hopefully we don't see that happen again. Or we do. And it stays to a gravity feed, not a whole set, please. This one created a lot of controversy, and it still is. Matt Donham is having nightmares right now. He's crying. He's pooping in his diaper. He's having a real hard time with this. Looking at the back of cards is now legal going forward. And most of the community is split in half. It's going to take too long. It's going to be faster. It's not real Heroclix. It's not. We're not going to debate. Maybe we'll debate about this on another time on another YouTube show. But this shit's already running long, and there's playoff football on, so we got to get this moving. Okay? We get the announcement that there are going to be quote-unquote team-up cards in the JLU set in 2020. What is this? I have no idea. Our first Colossal Prime ever happens. Primes happens in the X-Men set. We got the old Stealth Sentinel. We got the Storm. We got some Juggernaut, aka also is what's his face, Colossus. WWE Clix make a huge splash and introduce their own powers and abilities card, and they're not blind boosters. They're pretty awesome. You should check them out. So now you can have the Undertaker actually tombstoning something, and not just Stacey Watts thinking that the big colossal fist is a tombstone.
It is a freaking
It's not. It's a colossal
tombstone.
fist. So now I'm going to have the Undertaker actually tombstone somebody with a colossal fist. So it's a tombstone on a metaphorical tombstone action. You can have Shawn Michaels super kick a Spider-Man in the face. Then while Macho Man drops an elbow on him. Spider-Man Venom Absolute Carnage set is announced for 2020, and fanboys everywhere poop their pants as well. The Fantastic Four is back. We have a starter set coming out. It is your Fantastic Four with Silver Surfer and Doctor Doom already leaked. We also have an entire booster set coming out. Artwork already leaked out there for that set. Fantastic Four, welcome back. Welcome home.
Good to see you.
Clix effects are returning with the Cap set, like I already mentioned. The chases will have those Clix effects. It is the first year of Rock and the WizKids relationship, and it went pretty smooth. We had 2 sets of state championships. The first one was... was it just... I want to say it was constructed, and then the second one was supposed to be sealed, but then they got thrown off, so the second one ended up becoming Pauper. So Pauper was also... This is the year of the Pauper, and it's a format that people like. This is also the year of the Skirmish. Heroclix announced that they're also going to be pushing another way to play Heroclix in a skirmish format. You will play on a battle royal. More to come on that in another video as well. And then, as I said, Pauper makes a splash. Skirmish debuts. Briefcase. Bang. I'm out. That's a decade worth of Heroclix. That's 10 years of Heroclix. We went from having crappy figures in a stupid little cup to Oreo bases, to watch lists, to Colossal Retaliation. We got rid of stupid team bases. We got rid of some stuff with watch lists. We introduced pick-up powers, get rid of your entities. Goodbye power batteries. Haven't seen a resource in a while. Quinjet was broken. We also got special terrain. I forgot to mention that. Shit. We got special terrain. We got map bonuses as well. Forgot to mention that as well. I'm glad I'm still talking, because the more I talk, the more I remember that I didn't add into my report. So we have, map bonuses in special terrain. Thank you, Deadpool, Merc with a Mouth Jet, and thank you, Invisible Jet, that I forgot to mention. You guys, I suck.
Tiago said you missed the most important and relevant thing on Clix. Swamp Thing ID card.
Oh, don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole. So what Tiago was mentioning here is that we got a con exclusive Swamp Thing ID card, and then never had a Swamp Thing. Never had a Swamp Thing to actually call in the damn on the ID card. We had the War of Light Swamp Thing for like 2 weeks, maybe. Tops. We had no Swamp Thing that week, so we had this nice... I still have it. I'm just waiting. I'm still waiting for a Swamp Thing to come out. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to house rule that you can play that Swamp Thing ID card now, because we finally have a Swamp Thing ID to call the Swamp Thing. I hate you, Tiago. Why would you bring that up? Why would you ruin my decade of Heroclix?
Happy New Year!
Hey, welcome to a new decade. You know what they're going to do? They're going to put out a Swamp Thing ID card.
Super tall, what would you call those?
Those stupid, it's going to be extreme Swamp Thing. What's going to happen is they're going to put out a Swamp Thing, and he's going to have like a call-in mechanic built into the Swamp Thing. I'm here always. Free. You may bring this in from the sideline and use it as though it's an ID call-in. Because Aries complained way too much. So that's it. That's a decade of Heroclix. We have had so many things happened over 10-year periods. We've had champions, we've had multi-champions, we've had triple crown champions, we've had 2 different things, The Rock and WizKids, and they've melded together like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Shut up, it's been long. Melded together like a sweet, sweet peanut butter and jelly sandwich from Memphis, Tennessee, at the Graceland. What's the name of the hotel? Carriage House at Graceland or something like that. It was fantastic. So that's it. We're going to wrap this up. Thank you for subscribing to the Facebook page. Also subscribe here on YouTube and hit that subscribe button and hammer that bell so whenever I do videos or put up content, you will be notified. Also, I will repeat it again. Go check out my guys over at Critical Hits Customs. Use promo code ARES5, ARES5. Go talk to Marcus Silla and the boys. Get yourself 5 custom bystander tokens, action tokens, whatever you need, and you're going to get 2 free. Tell them I sent you. Go get yourself some stuff. You're going to need it. We have figures coming out where you're going to need bystanders. Jason Wingard, I know you're playing Jason. You need those bystanders. You need a whole bunch of them. Go get them from Critical Hits Customs. Aries 5. You get 5. You pay for 5. You get 7. We will be doing more of this as well. When I do live videos or when I post up things, we will have new promo codes, which will get you other things. Maybe it's discounts. Maybe it's more free stuff. Who knows? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all of you for checking out the Dishin Up Clix YouTube page and my inaugural post. Go check out the page. Subscribe here. I'll talk to you soon. Reach out to me if you need anything. Thank you so much. Go watch some football and enjoy the playoffs. We'll talk to you soon. This is Aries. I'm out of here.